So Paul, thanks for speaking to me this evening. Tell me a bit about your firm.
Well, our firm is primarily based in Belfast. We have about 60 people in Wellington Place. And about 15 years ago, we took the decision to expand to Dublin and London, mainly to accommodate the media work that we specialise in. I would act for high-profile individuals from the movie, music and sports industries. And obviously by its very nature, that means that most of them are based in California. So the firm has gradually expanded out to Los Angeles, and we would tend to do quite a bit of business there as well. So over the years, it's been a gradual process of development. We act for quite a number of very well-known individuals. It all sounds great, and I try not to be a name dropper, but the names that we act for are very good in terms of publicity because they tend to attract attention to the firm and the other work we do. So we take advantage of any success we have for them as a marketing tool for the practice.
Any big names in Belfast that you've been representing, Paul?
Well, there aren't too many big names out of Belfast, but we've had over the years we've acted for the Coors, Van Morrison, Krista Berg. We would act for Britney Spears, J-Lo, Will Smith. We can give you a long name. Like I said, I'm a terrible name dropper, so don't start me.
I'll come back to that in a wee second, but tell me, what are the main advantages in having a base here in Belfast?
Very low cost base. That's the big attraction with Belfast, and also you've got the same talent, the same expertise as you would have in London or Dublin. In fact, Northern Irish lawyers, in my experience, probably have an edge on the competition because most of them have been brought up with the troubles in the background. They've been used to dealing with very difficult, sensitive cases. The judiciary here, I've heard cases that no other courts in the world probably have heard in their nature and type. So we've been able to, there's been a benefit, if you like, to come out of the unfortunate history that Northern Ireland has had. So, my view is always if I can use Northern Irish lawyers, or Irish lawyers generally, we tend to do that. And they're liked very much as well over in the mainland UK and in America. You can open a lot of doors if you're Irish, and Northern Irish has even got a sort of quaint charm about it because they think that we're actually from New Zealand when they hear the accent, so we've got that little bit of an edge.
And what is your opinion of the current sort of legal situation in Northern Ireland at the moment and how we stand?
It's very worrying. We would have in any given week maybe 5-6 applications for a training contract. Now we take trainees in under the English system, the Irish system and the Northern Irish system, but they all have the same problem. It's getting a foot in the door. They can get their academic qualification, absolutely no problem, but to get the practical experience, to get in with a professional firm is very, very difficult. And I have a lot of sympathy with that. I got my first break in 1978 when I applied for a job in the Belfast Telegraph and got my training contract with Johnson's. I haven't managed to get away despite having applied to places as remote as Solomon Islands, Cayman Islands or whatever, but I'm still stuck in lovely Belfast, albeit travelling a lot more.
Well, it sounds like you enjoy it anyway, Paul. And in terms of how we compare for recruitment even, I know that's quite specific, but how do we compare in terms of the challenges that we might face for actually people entering into it?
Yeah, I think the recruitment companies play a vital role, a pivotal role, because they offer two things. It's not just contacts and the opportunity for a placement. They have a lot of experience and expertise. They know the market. They know where not to waste their time. They have a good idea, in my experience of Brightwater and recruitment companies that we work with, they have a good feel, they know the trends, and it's really important that you follow the trends because, there's nothing demoralises me more than to get all these CVs landing on my desk, young lawyers trying to start off, trying to get a foothold in the career ladder, and we know there's certain aspects of work that there's just no prospects for employment at the current time. Now 2 years time that could change, but at the moment it doesn't, whereas the recruitment agencies will know from their inquiries what's hot and what's not basically. And there are areas, at the moment I would be advising young lawyers to concentrate on getting a language or two behind them. Critically important, and Northern Ireland is way behind the pack in that. Very, very important. Intellectual property law is a growth area, and we've had a number of approaches from London trainees seeing if they could get a foothold in that area. And those are all it's knowing the areas that are expanding. some of my colleagues may be wincing when I say this, but there isn't too much demand for conveyancing solicitors at the moment for obvious reasons. Isn't too much of a demand, as much a demand anyway as there was for corporate lawyers. So you've got to think outside the box. I mean, I say to my lawyers, the private client operators, you've got to become litigators, otherwise you've got a problem. And it's surprising, there's resistance at first, but they learn. A young, newly qualified lawyer's got to think the same way. Where's their niche? Can't be too proud. I wasn't proud at the time. I'd have done anything. I was just desperate to get a job, a training contract. And as I'll be saying tonight, if I can do it, anyone can. I wasn't the brightest in the pack, but I just worked hard. Unfortunately, 35 years down the line, I'm still working 16-hour days, which is not good, 7 days a week. But I'm hoping that maybe next week might change.
I've heard that's par for the course for lawyers, is it? And before I let you go, can we have a little bit of a sneak preview, any of those stories you might be sharing about some of those high-profile legal cases?
No, well, I'll be explaining the first one. The title of my presentation is From Cream Buns to Hollywood. So I'll be explaining the significance of the cream buns whenever I give my talk. But just basically, that was a case. It was the first defamation case that I was involved in back in 1986, where the two top lawyers of their day in Belfast were accused of fighting over the last chocolate eclair in a local cake shop. And it sounds trite whenever you hear it at first, but it was a totally fabricated story, and the two lawyers were ridiculed. The Sunday World aggravated the situation by being, in my opinion, somewhat provocative. The case went to court before a Belfast jury of 7 ordinary people. Ran for a couple of weeks, and they were awarded £50,000 each. And that started me on a career as a media lawyer. And if it wasn't for the cream bun case, I wouldn't be acting for Nicolas Cage or Harrison Ford or all these name-dropping clients that I've got.